Okay, Impact Wrestling. Let's put something in perspective. I want to try and make this quick because I want to go straight to the review because I don't want to make this too long for you guys. Let's put some perspective. 2.5 years ago, Impact's production value was way better than it is now. And this show had one glaring weakness, and it was the camera work. And this has become very prevalent in the production value. I don't know what's going on in the back. You guys, if anybody knows what's going on, to the production team of Impact Wrestling. Supposedly they're about to have some type of special with another company. I don't know what it is in the next couple of months. But they need to beef up their production value. I don't know what it is. Maybe they got their staff cut by half. I don't know what it is. But everything is bad, particularly Impact Plus. If anybody has Impact Plus, you're not getting your money's worth. Because you are paying for exclusive content. Particularly these quasi pay-per-views. And I know people are going to say, like the last one I did that was on Impact Plus. I know you're going to say that wasn't a pay-per-view. In a sense it was. Because you were paying for the service. This wasn't put on Twitch or one of the ordinary channels that Impact shows their cable service. This was exclusive to Impact Plus. And the camera work was bad. The audio was bad. The lighting was bad. And it was not, and I know one of my subscribers told me, dude, how can you get upset? You can't blame that the stream was bad. No, this was not about the stream. Audio was bad from the beginning, not from the stream. Stream work is one thing, but when the mic is not working, that shows you it's a production. The lighting is not working. That shows you it's production. And today, seeing this episode, the camera work was bad. Either the cameramen were not in the right places or the camera switching was so bad it was hard to watch what was going on. You couldn't even see the impact. They always switched wrong. And I will elaborate on the basic matches that was going on. But I don't know what it is. They need to straighten their mess out. And if they are going to be teaming up with someone in the next couple of months, they need to straighten that mess out. Maybe to beef up their production. Let's go to the very beginning of Moose versus Falaba. Now, the camera work was not good here. It was not. But at least I caught enough of the good work in the ring to know that, one, Falaba has changed a lot in the last 4 or 5 months. His style has changed due to the fact of loss of weight. And one, is good for his health. That's the one thing I care about with a wrestler. I don't care if they can't move 100% great in the ring. I don't care if they don't get great storytelling as long as their health is alright. His health hopefully has gotten a little better. And he can always adjust his ring work. And hopefully they will give him a storyline. What he's doing with Moose, I'm not fond of. I'm glad that Falaba's getting a rub here. I'm glad that he's getting something. But it doesn't really lead anything. Or anywhere. It doesn't lead to something. Does it lead to the X Division title? No. Does this lead to the world title? No. If we still had the Impact Grand Championship, I would say let Falaba go after it. But there is no Impact Grand Championship. There is no TV title. There's no mid-card title. So, seeing Falaba get this moment in television is good, but where does it lead him? I just don't see anything for him. I want to see something, but there's nothing there. And then you see Moose. Now, Moose and Falaba had a good match. But where does this leave Moose? He just won his match. But the way they're booking him, it's like that he's supposed to break, lose his mind, and then something changes him. But he just won against Falaba. So that kind of goes against what they've been doing with Moose. What are they doing? I really feel like they're kind of spinning their wheels with Moose. Really, I don't know where they're going with Moose. If Moose is supposed to lose his mind and maybe switch to a face, cool. Or he's supposed to stay heel and then something's supposed to happen. Good. But where does this lead? Does it lead to... I'm botching because I'm thinking about Brian Cage, and he's still not in the main title picture right now. He's out of the main title picture. And that kind of leads me over to what happened to Elgin and Rhino. Elgin and Rhino had a fight basically in the back, outside, near the production truck, which I kind of hope they are going to do something better. because the camera work wasn't that great there either. I couldn't see him and I couldn't see Elgin together. I couldn't get a shot of them together because the camera work was kind of almost like WWE's camera work, where they do lots of zoom-ins, but they don't do a big panorama. Look, sometimes you need to get the entire area and stick with it because sometimes it's better to get that dramatic moment. And I didn't see that. So Elgin's supposed to be still dealing with Brian Cage, but now he's dealing with Rhino. Why? Why is he dealing with Rhino? Rhino just came back, and for no apparent reason other than to attack Elgin, he attacks Elgin. This is like a stopgap because Brian Cage isn't there. And I say this again, Brian needs to drop the strap. I like Brian Cage. I legitimately like him. But he needs to drop it because what are they doing? It's almost, and I'm not saying it's exact, but it almost feels like we're beginning to get our hands on a Brock Lesnar situation. And I'm not saying it is, but it's just beginning to feel like it. Brian is not there. Now, either they're doing it by storyline or Brian is actually still injured in real life. And they just don't want to strip him of the title because they really do believe he's the best one for it. But then you're hurting your show by not having a strap on the show. It feels like Brock when he first started out. Not 100% bad that he's not there, but then you notice there's no title. So that's what it feels like. Next, let's do Twitch. And let's see what happened with Melissa Santos. Oh my goodness. Twitch time with Melissa Santos. She's at the tapings in Mexico. And I always said this. When she's interacting with others, she's way more interesting. Yes, she still botches. And it's like she's trying to figure out what she wants to say. But she's a lot more entertaining. You got Michael Elgin pissing her off to the point where she says, fuck, on Twitch. She's in my face. She legitimately was getting very annoyed at Ethan Page, him saying, so who's your second favorite? And she said, I don't want to say it. Who's your second favorite? And he is legitimately pissing her off. 100% pissing her off. And she eventually said, you know, you get on my fucking nerves. And I know I said it. He just did this to me. And that was really funny to see that she cursed on Twitch, which shows that this is unfiltered. Something that's different and interesting. Also, Rich Swann did show up. He's in my face. He looks stupid. She said that he is her second favorite wrestler. Cool. Now, we had Jordynne Grace and what is that girl's name? Jordynne Grace and Nicole. I can't remember what is her. Alexa Nicole. Versus the, I don't even know what I would call Madison Rayne and Kiera Hogan. Not Fire and Desire. Fire and something. The Princess Fire, maybe? I don't know. Was this a good match? It was okay for what it was. And it led to a win for, well, not Grace and not Nicole, but for Hogan and Madison Rayne. And then after they started beating the crap out of a Jordynne Grace due to the fact of a mistake by Jordynne by herself. She did make a mistake that she wanted Nicole to jump on top of Kiera Hogan to pin her, but she forgot that she was the one who was tagged in. That's what messed up the match for them, and that's why they lost. But as the beatdown happened, and unfortunately I don't have the shot, I'll have to use a generic shot, you have Rosemary coming back. What does this mean? Is she going to be trying to pull back the Kiera Hogan to the good side? Is she going to be on Jordynne Grace's side? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go here. But I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. I just don't know how to feel. We hadn't seen her in a while. And I'm so hoping that she's in better shape. Not because she's heavy set, that her knee is better and she learned to adjust her tactic in the ring to be able to compensate for any change in size that she has. Because this is what I say, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you got injured and you gain weight and you can't run and go in the ring, change up your style. Change up and be something better. Try to make it more about really playing to the crowd. Try to make it about more strength. Try to make it more about more agility if you don't have great strength anymore because of an injury. Change it up. That's what I'm hoping with Rosemary. Taya Valkyrie at the beach with a, oh my gosh, he's in my face. A Johnny Bravo with Taya's puppy. What the hell, man? They're still in my face. I can't. It was stupid, but I liked it. It was so funny. And seeing a Taya Valkyrie, I'm not trying to be a dirty old man. Look, I'm almost 50 years old. She's sexy. She's in my face again. She's sexy. And walking along looking like that, I don't care if her breasts are fake or real. She just looks good. And she's trying to get a puppy done to go to the toilet. Johnny Bravo had to use a handkerchief to clean it up. It was just stupid. I don't know if this is going to lead somewhere. Supposedly in the next show on Friday, I don't remember what it was. Combat Cali, Combat of Cali. I don't remember what it is. She's supposed to make a statement. I do not think I'm going to do a review of it because of how the quality is on Impact Plus. I don't want to go there because I don't want to rant. So I'll find out about it later, and then I'll just talk about it when the next Impact comes on. So I don't know where that's going to lead. And I think this is leading into that. I don't know, you guys tell me below. Rascals versus Rich, Willie, and, excuse me, and RVD. The best match of the night. And the most frustrating match of the night. Excuse me, hiccuped. This was the best match for me personally, but it was the most frustrating because the camera work was so bad. Instead of them doing a panoramic shot when there was a lot of activity in the ring or something very dramatic or very impactful, you had them switch from one side, which didn't catch anything, and then when they tried to switch to the other side, they didn't catch anything. Instead of flipping it and having the long shot where you can see where the impact to the person that was getting hit, they did the opposite. The person that was hitting was the person prominent, and the person receiving it was not. And you couldn't see anything properly. It was so difficult to watch anything or even get shots to show you guys. It was so frustrating how you would, if you saw 2.5 years ago, they knew how to do this. They didn't make these mistakes. If they knew they couldn't get the shots because of a very narrow area to do their shots, they would do a panoramic. They would do a big wide shot, taking in everything, keeping it there for at least a few seconds to a minute so you could really see what's going on, and then switch when you had any type of activity that was really focused in one small specific place so the cameraman can catch it. This felt amateurish. I am shocked. Impact, when they were on Destination America, when they were on Spike, hell, when they first started Anthem, you can say a lot of how badly the booking was, but the production value was still very high. Now, production is so bad. It's hurting me. I still managed to see some good action, but as a reviewer, I can't just say, well, I enjoyed the action. I did see some of it. As a fan, I can't do it that way. I'm someone who's here on this camera to tell you how the quality was. Not just by the wrestlers themselves, but by the promotion. And I gotta be honest. Why would you pay money to Impact if they can't even get the production value right? Look, when it was over, let's move away from that. It was RVD, Willie, and Rich who won. And then the golden draw of Jake Chris shows up in the back, messing with them, saying, I am the golden draw. Don't come near me. You're trying to get my title. This didn't make much sense to me personally. It didn't. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't get any understanding of why Jake was there. He should be in the, well, I'll get to that in a minute, about the last match of the night. But honestly, he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have. Dempsey Hit Squad versus the Deaners. A trash versus class match. Which, and I'm going to be honest here, 100% honest, This should have closed the show. And it's not because it was an incredibly great match. It was because it was something compelling. Instead of Impact building this situation up between the Deaners and the Depsy Hit Squad over the last couple of weeks to a month, saying that the Depsy Hit Squad has been pissing them off, the Deaners are getting pissed off by Depsy Hit Squad, going to management and saying, we want to have something here. We need to get these guys. We want some type of stipulation. Now, of course, I didn't see all of Impact. I saw maybe a couple of highlights of it, but I didn't watch it last week. You guys know the reason why. Because my editing software was really making it very difficult to do any work. I had to just stop and take a breath and start working on the new editing software that I've been using now called, not OpenShot, but Kadium Live. So I only saw a few highlights from Impact's YouTube channel. A few. So I don't know everything that happened. But this should have been its own thing. They should have sponsored this and then put Tessa and Tommy and the OVE on another show and left this for the end of the show and then built it from there. You could have made this a couple of weeks to a couple of months of content, honestly. They could have dragged this out very well if they just booked it properly. And they didn't. Now, the match was okay. It was good. And in the end, the Deaners win, which I think the Depsy Hit Squad should have won. Because I think it would have been more funnier to see the Deaners have to be servants to the Depsy Hit Squad. Not the Depsy Hit Squad being farmhands to the Deaners. And you see them with what was that? Why would they bring out an 18th to 19th century, like 1700s, 1800th century wheel, like what do they call it? What do they call it? A cart wheel. Or for, I can't remember the name of it. It'll probably flash in front of me. But essentially, a wagon wheel. There you go. I'll probably just say, I'm stupid. I'll get in a few seconds. And it's probably flashing in my face, laughing at me. Anyway, what we got here was a missed opportunity. I'm being honest here. Now, what else do we have here? Oh, the situation between Ace Austin, Alyssa, and Eddie. Honestly, I'm still not feeling it. I really don't have any interest in it. I understand what Ace Austin's doing. Ace Austin is literally trying to get into the pants of an Alyssa Edwards. She's trying to convince her that he is innocent in this, and he's trying to get into her pants. Trying to be very clever about it. And then making Eddie just so jealous, he's going to be acting beyond stupid. I understand it, but I don't want to see it. Not that this kind of story could be compelling. It's the problem that you got Eddie Edwards, who should be in the main title picture right now. You have Ace Austin, who should have already been an X Division champion already. And neither one is doing anything. They just stuck them together for filler. And that's the problem. This is a filler feud. It's not meant to be a compelling feud. It's meant to be a filler feud. And that's sad for both of them. And it really does hurt me. Alright, let's see what else is here. Let me see. Already spoke about that. Okay. Oh, just in case someone sees me beginning to sweat my butt off. Look, I want to say this clearly. I am sweating, but not because I'm sick. I'm in an enclosed room with no air conditioning. Okay? This room I'm in has no air conditioning. The windows and doors are closed so to keep the noise out. And if anybody says, and I'm sure anyone's going to say, Jude, you're sick, go to the doctor. I'm fine. I'm in a room that's almost 90 degrees with no air conditioning. Yeah. I'll probably put some scenes right here about what the room looks like, at least with the door closed when I'm done. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, let's go to the final match of the night and the talk between Tommy and Tessa Blanchard. Was it a good talk, what he said? Let's put this in perspective. They're trying to promote all-around wrestling for men and women. This is what they're doing with a Tessa Blanchard. They're trying to get her over as a wrestler. They're not trying to go down the Daniel Bryan route as an underdog because she just needed to get her ass whooped all the time, not win once, not get over once. Maybe get a little defense in, but she's always screwed every single time. This isn't Daniel Bryan because she has gotten over multiple times from the OVE. She just has. She may have lost some, but she's won more outside the ring than she has inside. So that doesn't make it a Daniel Bryan feud. Then she's not going down the China route. She has no team. And OVE is not, and I repeat, not her ally. And she has no other ally. She's not getting LAX as her ally. She's not getting OVE. And I know people would say you can't make her OVE because she's not from Ohio. It doesn't matter. We need a faction for her. And they can write some way to put her in. No matter if you like it or not, that would have been the best way. Or even Tommy Dreamer with Rhino. Maybe a team that way. No. So they're not going down the Daniel Bryan route of constantly getting the butt kicked and being screwed over by the Authority. That would have made more sense. They're not doing China, and she has no faction. So they're just trying to say she's a wrestler, and she has to prove that she's one of the best as one of the Impact wrestlers. And hell, she brought up Magnum PA. Well, he brought up Magnum PA, Tommy Dreamer. He brought up her dad, Telly. And when it comes down to it, her grandfather as well. And pretty much saying this, and they're in my face. Look, your grandfather needed help. He's as stubborn as you are, but he learned he needed help. He was the first one to go national, but he could have gotten more if he got help. Your dad, Telly, he could have had more. He was blackballed by this industry, and he could have gotten more if he got help. Magnum TA, he was on a rise, trying to gain something, but in the end, he had a problem, and he needed someone to help him, particularly keep himself alive and breathing. You're the same way. No one's saying you're not dedicated. No one's saying that you can't do it, but it doesn't mean you can't get help when you do it. I'm here for you. You are a wrestler. I am a wrestler. We are wrestling. You are inspiring. So let me be by your side. Don't say I don't need any help. I don't want any help. You need help, and there's no shame in it. Are you with me? And he screams at her saying, are you with me? In my face. And then she gets pumped up, and then they have the match. Was it a good match? Yes, it was, even though the camera work was atrocious again. In the end, Tommy and Tessa win, but honestly, Tessa really doesn't gain anything here. Look, the only way this is going to work, because we already know, either it's by Bound for Glory, at Bound for Glory, or after Bound for Glory, Tessa and Sammy are going to have one more match. And the problem here is this. She's not China. She has no faction. You got no Daniel Bryan story where she's up against an Authority that is against her 100%. She doesn't have a faction by her side. She doesn't have an Authority against her. They're only doing the line of her being a wrestler that is not being treated properly, that is being persecuted because of her sex, and it's not working. The only way this is going to work is for her to go down the route of a Jake Chris. I know next week on a Friday, I think it's Cali Combat, or Combat Cali. I don't remember the full name of it. But you have Jake Chris going up against Richard Swann for the X Division title. Now, I'm hoping that Rick Swann does not win that title and Jake retains it, because Tessa needs to get it. You know why? Because it's the only thing left she can do. If this was just an ordinary knockout trying to find redemption, it should be with other women. They're not putting with other women right now. Right now, she's only working with men. So what does this really give her? She needs a title. This is the only option they have left now. She has to take something from OVE. The best option is the X Division title. That's what it really comes down to. She has to win it. Not because it's going to lead her to the World Championship. No. It's because she must win it because there's nothing else left for her to do. You could say, well, she has to beat all of OVE. Didn't she beat the crap out of Jake Chris already? Didn't she beat the crap out of Dave Chris? Yes, she didn't really stand a chance 100% against Madman Fulton. But who can? And even though she has not beaten Sammy, beating him, what will it really give her? It's not enough. It has to be something more. It must be something more. And if it's not for a title, if she doesn't take a title away from OVE, what does she actually gain by just beating Sammy once? Because the way they built her up right now, there's no other option for her. She must gain something from this. Not just beating Sammy. Because once she beats Sammy and it's all said and done, what then? She has to go back to the knockouts. And the way they're acting, I do not believe she's going back to the knockouts anytime soon. Once she beats Sami Callihan, I don't expect her to go back to the knockouts. I just don't. I expect her to do something else. She's not going after the world title. The X Division's the only other title next to the Impact Grand Championship or Television Championship. She needs a title to solidify herself. And that's the reason why I said either she goes for the Daniel Bryan route or she goes for the China route. Daniel Bryan getting screwed over by the Authority, finally beats them, and finally has full redemption because he beat them by winning a title. China, she had a faction behind her. She showed that nobody could touch her because she was the ninth wonder of the world. Nobody can touch her because she was that damn dominant. She went up against men, she went up against women, and she won a freaking title from the men. Once. I know it could have been more than once. I think she won it twice. I can't remember. But still, that's the route Tessa needs to go. She needs to win something. More than just one match against Sammy and be redeemed. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, you're just wrong. You're stupid. Well, leave the comments below. I'll comment. I'll tell you how I feel. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.